regular people with children look at these things and they say, you know what, this is a bit too far. I do not agree with this. I don't like this. I think Democrats are going way too much to the left on social issues. They're uncomfortable with it. A lot of people believe that. A lot of families believe that. You may disagree with that reality, but that's why Republicans kept running those ads over and over and over again, because they saw the metrics suggested that they were working.
In those ads over and over again and using rhetoric like you just used, saying this is boys playing girls sports. First of all, we're talking about five people in the entire country.
You would prefer?
That's a CNN panel on Abby Phillips' Newsnight completely falling apart while discussing a Trump ad that liberals and establishment news are now arguing helped Republicans win the election. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and sparks are flying over at CNN because it looks like in a desperate attempt to win over more progressive viewers, the network appears to be doubling down on all the issues that lost Harris the election. Here's Abby Phillip bringing the hammer down after a panel member opts out of using woke terminology while making a valid point about progressive politics.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls' softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
Let's reset for a second because, look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Sharmichael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this. I think out of respect for Jay, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Okay, so let me rephrase this since I'm being targeted here.
I don't. You're not. Just to be clear, you are not being
targeted.
I
am, but it's okay.
I'm specifically saying that I know that you are not intending to be transphobic.
He should know that I'm not intending. He wants to sit here and bloviate.
I'm saying you're using a phrase
I want to give you an opportunity.
So the way regular people interpret it,
that's not regular people. That's not regular people. There's no consensus that these are actually boys. This whole thing about trans girls is a canard. We're talking about a tiny, tiny sliver of the population.
That may be the
and we're using that
my point in
to
terms
take
of
away
its
healthcare from
effectiveness.
Thousands of people.
Hold on, just get to your point.
My point in terms of its effectiveness.
You know, it's been said to death at this point, but this is exactly how the left tries to shrink the Overton window. They demand that you use their terminology and legitimize their radical ideas before even having a discussion on the topic. Otherwise, they're going to accuse you of being hateful, which is ridiculous because that guy didn't say a slur, he wasn't wishing harm or expressing hatred towards anyone, he was just stating what was widely accepted as a basic fact of reality by nearly every civilization on Earth since the dawn of time until about 5 seconds ago. But apparently it's not just Abby Phillip pushing this, it looks like Dana Bash got the memo as well.
Ads specifically focused on a trans issue. I want you to listen to some of it and we'll talk on the other side.
Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
The transgender community in the U.S. is very, very small. It got really outsized attention. There are a lot of people who say that your campaign demonized the trans community as a way to present a wedge issue for perhaps men of color, suburban parents. Why do you think, and I know you believe that those ads worked, why do you think they worked?
Well, first of all, we didn't demonize the transgender community. In fact, this really isn't even about transgender issues. This ad is really about misplaced priorities. At the end of the day, it is a small minority of the country that thinks taxpayer dollars should be spent on that sort of thing. And when you have a majority of the country who is saying very clearly that they don't believe the government is working for them, they're worse off than they were 4 years ago, the country is in the wrong track, and then to see a presidential candidate who is saying she's going to move this agenda forward and that's how taxpayer dollars should be spent, it just doesn't comport with them. They don't think the government is working for them. People want the government to be doing what their priorities are. And frankly, spending taxpayer dollars to give transgender surgery to prisoners is just not a priority of the American people. And that's why the ad was effective. It's about misplaced priorities on behalf of a leader.
It's always funny how it's considered a small number of people in the country right until it becomes politically advantageous to suggest otherwise. I mean, I don't recall CNN or anyone on establishment news using the small number argument when liberals and Democrats were pandering to progressives progressives and were suggesting that 32 deaths were the equivalent to a dangerous extermination, which is ridiculous, especially given the circumstances surrounding most of those deaths. I mean, Bash's guess is absolutely right that this is about priorities, and when the party occupying the White House is leaning in so hard on an issue that is deeply concerning to women and parents, who, by the way, are seeing stories about assault, non-reversible medical procedures on kids, and children being separated from their non-affirming families, it becomes a little bit more important, regardless of how small the numbers are. But let me know what you think. Why is CNN suddenly putting all its eggs in the progressive politics basket? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!